Hi, I'm Alex. This is a little video about Toodles and Joe. Joe, if you're watching this, fuck you. Just simple as that. Um, Back in October, I had made a twit longer about Toodles, aka Jessica, who was a shitty person. Um, for 8 months of our friendship, she used me, manipulated me, gaslit me at every fucking chance she got, and potentially removed me from a community that I was well known in. That community was Tuesdays. Jules got exactly what she wanted. She bullied me off of both Twitch and Twitter. I was no longer active on any of my social medias. Toodles is a bully. Not only did she spearhead a campaign against Spud Queen, she asked me to also spearhead the campaign against Spud Queen, and I did. And I am so sorry for that, Spud. I'm so sorry for that. I thought I was doing right by a friend of mine who was being dragged through the mud, and I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong on so many accounts. After I got sexually assaulted by a man within Tuesday's community and in Toodle's community named Joe, whose gamer tag is Ultimate Letdown 76, um, it took me a while to talk to Toodles about it and to talk to Tuesday about it. I had only let one person know, and that was Mrs. Lulz. And it took a lot of talking between me and Mrs. Lulz to even come to Tuesday. Because I know that Tuesday was a safe space for me, and I knew I could go to her with any problem in the fucking world, and she would have been there for me. It wasn't that I didn't trust her, it was that it was somebody from her community that was giving so much money to her, and it was her income, and it still is her income. It's how she helps pay her rent and whatnot. That may not be the case today, as I have not been very active in Tuesday's community for the last year and a half. Um, but I still hold Tuesday as one of the most important people in my life. So when I had come to her about the fact that Ultimate had sexually assaulted me in my own home, in my own bed, someone that I had trusted and had felt like was a brother to me, it took every ounce of me to talk to her about it. And she immediately said that it was okay. That she would stand behind me in whatever I did, whatever I chose to do. And at the time, I chose not to seek to get him removed from the community because I was at such conflict. Because he was just a big income support for Tuesday, and I didn't want to be seen as this selfish asshole because I had been assaulted. And it took a lot of talking, it took a lot of back and forth, it took a lot of therapy. And it's still hard to talk about. It's getting easier because it's not the first time it's happened to me, but when I had gone to Toodles about it, that's where these two people are different. Tuesday was calm, cool, collected, and the person everybody knows her to be because she is through and through a wholesome person, a selfless person, the best person. Toodles, on the other hand, is not. Toodles is lying to you. She does not give a fuck about your mental health. She does not care that you love her so much. To her, it's an ego boost. To her, you are a number. To her, you are boosting her numbers so she can remain partner on Twitch. To her, you are just money bags. Just money bags. She does these fundraisers not for anybody else but herself. She is selfish. And I say that because when I had come to her about Ultimate, she turned around and immediately went to him. When I specifically asked both Tuesday and Twootles not to, because he knew where I lived, he knew my legal dead name, he knew my parents' name, he knew where I was raised, he met my family. That is how much trust I had in this man. And he abused it, and he used it and I was at fear of my own life. This man was 6'4", 300 pounds, a former firefighter, former EMT, former military person. And I am 5'2". I am 5'2" on a good day. His hand was the size of my torso. And I still have nightmares of being trapped underneath his palm. Sometimes it is still hard for me to sleep. I went to Twoootles and she went straight to him. She went straight to him. And I knew she had went straight to him because she told me that she was going to go talk to him, and I said, please don't. For my safety, until I am safe, until I know that I am safe, please do not confront him. And Tuesday didn't. Tuesday did not confront him in any way, shape, or form until I asked in, I want to say January, February last year, until I had asked and sat down with her and said, can we remove him? It took less than 10 seconds for her to do that. With Twoootles, it took until me calling her out. It took me until using the twit longer to post the evidence that I had against her of her manipulating me, gaslighting me, and using me to her advantage, and her spearheading a campaign against Bud Queen. And it still took her 28 days to ban him from her stream. And even then, I'm sure he's not banned. I'm sure she unbanned him immediately afterwards because she thinks she's the good in this world. She spouts this toxic positivity bullshit when she doesn't care. She lies to you about her diagnoses about ADHD. She doesn't have ADHD. She has BPD. She has borderline personality disorder. She's a narcissist. When she had come to me last year about the hate that I had against Deku Pool. I don't hate him. I'm just very mad at him and upset with him. I don't hate him. She got into my brain. She got into my brain and gaslit me into thinking that I was jealous of him and his friendship with Tuesday. I wasn't. I don't give a fuck who's friends with Tuesday. Tuesday deserves all the love in the world. She deserves all the friends in the world. I do think some men are stupid and think spending money on her, they deserve a right in her world, which any woman out there, if a man spends a lot of money on you and thinks they have a right to you, no, you get fucked. That's the only issue I have. But, when my issues arose with Deku, I went to Twoootles out of confidence. Because if anybody who knows me knows that when I have an issue with somebody, I have to talk it out with someone. Now I have a therapist to talk it out to, but I didn't have a therapist then, and I only had friends. And I was using my friends to help work through these feelings I had with Deku, because I didn't know what to do. And Twoootles said that I was very jealous of him and Tuesday's relationship. She had told me flat out that Deku and Tuesday were dating, and that I need to back off because I'm being some jealous lover of Tuesday's. I am not romantically involved with Tuesday. I never have been. I never will be. Tuesday is my best friend. She is like family to me. I know English. Am I in love with Tuesday? Yes. I'm in love with Hexie. I'm in love with Lauren. I'm in love with Breezy. I'm in love with every single one of my friends. Male, female, I'm in love with them. Because there's nothing against human code of being in love with your friends platonically. And I'm in love with all of my friends. If I wasn't, we wouldn't be friends. They were my best friends. They were my ride or dies. I would do anything for any of them if they just so asked. Twoootles had thought that I was romantically involved with Tuesday, and I wasn't. I could give a fuck less about Tuesday's romantic life. It has no personal bearing on me. It has no personal effect on me. It doesn't bother me. If she was dating Deku, that's her prerogative. Good for her. That wasn't my issue. My issue was that Deku had lashed out at me when I was being a genuine concerned person about something, and lashed out at me instead of these several other people that were treating him like shit. And I still have videographic evidence of him lashing out straight at me and not anybody else. After that night, it kind of spiraled downwards because I was upset and I was angry that a friend of mine was so mad at me because I was just flabbergasted that he spelled salmon Salman, and I've never in my 30 years of living ever seen somebody spell salmon like that. And it never occurred to me that I never spelled it like that because I'm hooked on phonics. And I was genuinely impressed. I was like, wow, I've never actually seen that spelling of salmon before. And because he hadn't slept in 24 hours and because he was stoned out of his mind, mind you, you're a grown adult, sleep. Thank you. It doesn't give you an excuse to lash out at somebody. Somebody who actually wasn't even picking on you that time. Deku. And I'm still mad about it, and I'm still hurt about it, because it was that moment that had spiraled out of control, and it was Twoootles, it was Jessica, that had ended up in a group chat with Deku, Kawaii Casey, probably Goomba, and probably fucking Royal, that entire friend group, and just gaslighting them all into thinking that I was jealous of Deku and Tuesday. And I wasn't. I've gone to therapy over it. We figured out that it wasn't jealousy I was feeling, it was hurt. It was that all of my friends, my so-called friends, had dogpiled onto me. And thrown something onto me that I don't know and I don't understand. I don't know what jealousy is. I've never had a jealous bone in my body. Because I'm not jealous of people. I get what I want, and I always get what I want. It just takes time to get there. It takes time and energy. Yes, I will get to where I want to be in time. I will not use others to get to where I need to be. I will not manipulate others to get to where I need to be. I will get there. I will get what I want always in the end. Because life is meant to be used to your prerogative. If you manifest it hard enough, you will make it happen. If you believe in it hard enough, you will make it happen. And I've made a lot of things happen. And I've also been silent on a lot of things that have happened. And I spoke out in October against Twoootles and her shitty self and her manipulative strategies and how shitty she is a person. And I was approached by Joe Tendo. And Joe, this one's personal. You used me. You used me to get ahead of a story because you thought that you could use Twoootles to your prerogative. You thought you could use Twoootles as a stepping stone into this imagination, this imaginary life that you have of being someone's white knight, and you're not. You're just not. You're racist. You use people of color to your benefit. You use people that have been sexually assaulted and victimized. You use their vulnerability against them, and you make them believe that there is someone out there wanting to share their story. But you don't want to share their stories. You want to use their stories as a stepping stone in your career of being righteous and self-just, and justice will always prevail. Not with you, it won't. Not with you at the helm. Calling out creators, yeah, I used to do that a lot. I've gone after very big creators that you wouldn't have the balls to do, Joe. It was my name. It was my brand. And I no longer do that anymore because I grew tired. I grew tired of the fights. I grew tired of people thinking I was trying to use them as a stepping stone. And I wasn't. I was trying to get their truth out alongside my truth, alongside the other person's truth. And you don't care about the truth. You sat there and you saw all this evidence pile in against Twoootles, and you could only focus on her theft of art. You didn't give a fuck that she sided with the sexual predator that assaulted me. You didn't give a fuck that she used multiple people as stepping stones in her life to get to where she is in her Twitch career. You didn't give a fuck. And for that, fuck you. I hope your career ends. I hope your career ends. I really hope it does. Because you don't deserve the platform that you have right now. You don't listen to people when they come to you about things. You bullied Maddie. You bullied Nikage. Sorry. Nine beats. Took me a minute. I'm so sorry. It's hard to keep up with names because I have the attention span of a walnut and the memory of a rock. Sometimes I forget my own name. Please don't be mad. And you bullied Vine. You became so focused on BB Jess's bullshit that you swiped Jessica's bullshit, Twoootles, underneath the rug. You became so obsessed with BB Jess and you became so obsessed with Teeny that in my video, you didn't even do half the shit. You didn't even do 2% of the evidence. You focused on Teeny. And I thought in my heart that you really wanted to help me. And I was foolish enough to believe you. And for that, to my community, to Maddie's community, to Vine's community, to Knee's community, to everybody involved, I am so sorry. I know I personally have nothing about Maddie or Vine or Knee, but I was friends with Joe for the last 3 months because I really believed he was going to push my story about Twoootles out. And instead, I watched him bully other creators that I enjoy watching, that I enjoy admiring from afar, be harassed and bullied and sent threats and be violent against. I don't stand by that. I don't condone it. I've never condoned violence in my community, and I never will. The people you keep are a representation of who you are at your core. And me, through and through, I don't ever claim to be a nice person. I don't ever claim to be good. I don't ever claim to be kind. I am a Luthor, through and through. There will be moments in my life where I will falter, where I fall, and I hope that you all will hold me accountable, and I hope that you all will understand that as a human being, we grow, we evolve, we have dark moments in our times where our moral judgment will not align with us anymore and kind of skewer off, and then we'll skewer back in. I hope in those moments that you don't think any less of me and that you hold me accountable when I need to be held accountable. I hope when you see my name from now on in chats, you don't see me as somebody that had a hateful vendetta against Twoootles. You see somebody that was wronged by Twoootles and just want justice. I have sat idly by for 3 months and watched people drag BB Jess and Hey Tony and all these other people that have done the same things Twoootles has done, and nobody has held Twoootles accountable. And to my friends that have been silent in the matter, being silent in the sight of injustice means you're taking the side of the oppressor. We're not friends. I do not support you anymore. You will not find me in your communities. You will not find me in your chats. Your safe space that you like to title it as is not a safe space for people like me. You are friends with somebody who befriended a sexual predator. You are friends with somebody whose mod is a pedophile. You are friends with somebody who bullied people off the internet because they didn't agree with her. To put it lightly, there are a lot of things that I want to say, and I don't want to be overly mean or overly hateful in this video, but it needs to be addressed. And I know I've been silent on the Joe Tendo situation because I really thought he was going to do me justice, and I wasn't done justice. And I will relink my twit longer with the evidence against Twoootles. And this is the end. I no longer want to fight on this. I've realized that nobody wants to hold Jessica accountable. Nobody will hold Twoootles accountable. Nobody will ever see me as someone that was wronged by Twoootles. And with that, I'm sorry I have failed.